So, hello and welcome to part 2 of our webinar series, Rest in Peace Press Release, Distributing Content Online. Today, we're talking about the effective creation of a content marketing campaign. My name is Linda. I'm outreach expert at Yology, which is an online marketing agency. And I'm working there for over 3.5 years in the content outreach, which you see here on the right side. Also, we offer search engine optimization, paid advertising, and content creation. Today, this is our agenda. First of all, we are talking about the selection of the content type you can use for your content marketing campaign. After that, we define the content. Then we'll talk about layout and graphics and create a landing page. And of course, at the end, we need a quality control. But first of all, we're talking about the learnings of our part 1. We learned that classic press releases usually offer a too little added value and do not attract any attention to the reader and or to the journalist. There are alternatives, for example, native advertising or the content marketing. And the content marketing is perfect for creating an added value for the users. And it is definition is it's the design and creation of relevant content that adds an informative, advisory, entertaining value to the target group. Another learning is you can make a distinction between the strategic and the operational content marketing. There you can use creativity techniques, which are very helpful in finding topics to develop your innovative ideas. You need to make an evaluation to determine what is the best idea. And we said the next step now is to design and to implement a campaign, what we're talking about today. So first of all, I want to show you an example, a comparison of the press release, the PR, and the seeding. We did that with our Yology white paper, the paid advertising white paper. And you can see on the left side, we started a press release. We sent it to 162 receivers. There were only 47 openings, and that results in an opening rate of 29%. And we got only 6 clicks, which is a click rate of 3.7%. But on the other hand, we also did content seeding, where we contacted 71 medias, and it resulted in 26 publications, which is a big increase, compared to the 0 publications of the press release. So that results in a publication rate of 36.6%. We also got 30 rejections, which is a rejection rate of 42%, and also got 15 where no response was. We didn't get any response, but in total, with a publication rate of 36%, results are speaking for themselves. So the content seeding gets more results than the press release. But now, first of all, we have to check what content type you want to select, what content type you want to choose. So we have different content types. We have a video. You have an interactive tool, you can publish an infographic, a study, or maybe even an ebook or a white paper. So before starting with writing and layout with your content, check what content type is perfect for you, what type of content is perfect for your content marketing project, for your topic, and also for your target group. That's also some point you have to consider, but we're talking about that later on. I brought you an example of an infograph. This is a fashion-related infograph. We published this together with one of our clients, and it's about the fashion of the 20th century. When you click on each of the years, you get information, you get a picture, a drawing of hairstyle, of the fashion, the shapes of the woman those years. So you get a little information about each of the decade. And it's the golden 20s, which we'll show you here in this screenshot. And after all, we got 37 domain links. And now it ranks on desktop version for 128 keywords, for example, for fashion by decades on position 2. Also, we have over 800 keywords for mobile rankings, for example, timeline, fashion on position 1. And we also published this infograph in Dutch and in French in the Switzerland shop and distributed it with our language experts. We also had an expert for this infograph, which was a collaboration with a blogger Isabel from the website siebensonnen.de. And that's what made the expert part of the infograph. Second example is an ebook. It's the GDPR from LexOffice Lexware. It was a comprehensive guide on the subject of GDPR. The GDPR got, came into force in the summer month of 2018. So shortly before it came into force, the ebook was published and we distributed this ebook. We also had a cooperation of different experts and they brought the necessary competence. And it was a successful campaign because we reached out to many journalists, many webmasters, many publishers who recently wrote an article about the general data protection regulation, but they always said they miss like a comprehensive guide and comprehensive ebook. So they published our guide, which they thought it's pretty comprehensive. So we hit the perfect time. We were able to spread the ebook all over the web. And that's one point where it's, the ebook was published to a special occasion, the date where the general data protection regulation came into force. And we had the zeitgeist, we had the perfect time, and that was resulted in a successful campaign. We have an ebook here, but what's the difference between ebook and a white paper? I have it here for you. An ebook is usually divided into individual chapters, and it's possible to switch in between those topics. And it's also suitable for shorter readings, for multiple readings. But on the other hand, the white paper normally has a linear or continuous text that requires like focus reading, and you can read it in one piece. And the ebook is more concept-based. The topic selection is more on current trends and current ideas. You have visual breakups like tables, bullet points, pictures and stuff. And usually like as it's a book, it's a loose style and it's on eye level with the reader. Where on the other hand, the white paper is usually data-based. The content is based on research, on sources, and it's prepared with a lot of data. It's primarily text only, and the data is of course sometimes prepared in charts and graphics, but mostly text. And it's a formal style for, you want to position as an expert, so you use the formal style, you use technical words, formal language after all. That's what we used in our white paper. That's an example of our EOlogy white paper for the Corona crisis called Online Marketing Despite Corona Crisis. It is, we addressed it to a current topic. Shortly after the Corona crisis hit the world, we published this white paper. And as it was a very current topic this time, we had to prepare the content pretty quickly and had to publish it pretty quickly. So it hits the time, and now it ranks for 10 keywords in desktop version and for 35 keywords in mobile version, which is also pretty awesome for this short time publication. Next example, I have a video for you that's it's a good example for a video content. It has a famous face with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and that's the first thing you see. And now it has over 113 million views on YouTube. It was a high quality production, the famous face. There's an evergreen pop hit, which is Only Time from Enya. And it's a spectacular stunt, which was spread through Twitter with the hashtag #EpicSplit. The message of this video the incredible stunt was made possible by the Volvo dynamic steering system. So it's a new type of steering system that gives the driver significantly more directional stability and precision. So that's that makes the epic balancing act possible. Here's a picture where this epic split is shown, and it's just amazing how they made the video, the sunset, the music, it all just fits together. So it was, you can see it on the views, really successful video, pretty successful campaign. The next example I've got for you is a study. It is, we looked at Intersport that did a fast food in reality check, and they published a comprehensive study on the subject of fast food. And among other things, they published various person profiles where they created what the effects of fast food on them were presented. For example, you can compare a young sportive man to an elderly woman and what fast food will do to their body. And additionally, you have a fast food calculator. For example, it can calculate how much exercise you have to do to get rid of the, for example, Big Mac you just ate. So after all, you have to make a decision. But how can you make a decision? First of all, which criteria should be considered? First of all, you have to look at your target group. How much time do they desire? Do they have to read through the longer text? Do they just want to see a video? For example, if you have a younger target group, for example, teenager, they normally do not want to read the ebook with 100 pages. They want to see a video, maybe even a TikTok video, an Instagram video. So that's what you have to consider concerning your target group. Then, of course, what is the scope of the topic? Can you build it up in a small ebook? Does it have to be a longer content? Is an infographic enough? Then also, can it be presented graphically well? Is it even, is it possible to do it in a graphic, or is it just suitable for text? Also, you have to keep your budget in mind. You have to keep your goals in mind. What goals do you want to reach with your campaign? And should it be distributed in several countries? So is translation necessary? Ebook can translate easier than maybe a tool where you have also the programming has to be translated. So that's all what you have to check, and just check up those points and to find your individual content type which fits perfectly for your campaign. Now, after we decide which kind of content, which media we want to use, we have to define the content. For that, we want to use influencers. And why do you want to work with influencers? Sometimes you think it costs time and money, but influencers have many advantages. For example, they are well-known personalities and they ensure sympathy in your society. This the target group you want to address. They often have creative ideas, and they maybe even get more ideas into your project. They are specialists in your topic, so they can even bring other point of views into your project, which you haven't thought about it before. Also, the target group can possibly be reached better through influencers because they have their followers, they have their fans, which you can, of course, address to because you usually have the same target group. Then, that's why influencers can later act as multipliers for your content marketing. So when they publish, it's pretty common that their followers will publish your campaign as well. The influencers or experts also create trust. Because they are experts of the topic, they work in this topic, they maybe teach this topic, so they are the real experts. And of course, this expert knowledge increases your quality of your content, which we want to have. We want a high quality content to be published, and that's why I need the experts. So now the question is, where do I find those experts and which experts are perfect? First of all, you can go check for organizations for your topic, maybe even subject matter experts, like professors, people working in those projects, influencers, bloggers, food bloggers, when you have a food content. Associations, they usually have a lot of members, which count as experts as well. And of course, the influencers, because they have a lot of knowledge, and of course they have the matching target group of this topic. They have different opinions from their target group, and they're working in this topic for a long time. So they are your connection between your target group and your expert part. A little excursus now to the influencer. What is an influencer? Well, now it's a common word, everybody knows it in marketing, and the term influencer stands for people who can be considered experts and opinion leaders through content, their communication, their knowledge, and their reach. So here's what you have to keep in mind. The influencers don't stand for any particular content format or for any medium. They're like influencers on YouTube, on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, like black bloggers all over the web. And what all influencers have in common is that they have a high level of digital competence, and they usually are high level of activity in social media. So that's where you have to focus your search for influencers. So why influencers? Of course, reach. The influencers build a community or build up a community for over a long period of time, and therefore have now a wide reach. The reach you actually also want to gain for your project. They're reaching the correct target group, and if you select them appropriately, the perfect target group is reached. They have a big authenticity and credibility. And the followers, they trust their opinion of the influencers, and they actually want the same as the influencers. And they have a big interaction potential when the content is commented, when they publish a picture, post a picture online, it's commented, it's liked, thumbs up. That's the interaction you actually also want to have for your content marketing project. And of course, the multiplier factor, as the content is distributed further by the community, first by the influencer and then by the community. So how you select an influencer? First of all, of course, you need the suitable target group. If the target group of your project needs to be a teenager, and your influencer only reaches a business person and companies, that's not the right way. You have suitable target groups, and you need to find an influencer in this case who attracts and who also has a target group of teenagers. Of course, the content orientation is also important criteria. The image and language quality, of course, you want to have a high quality influencer that fits to your quality of your content marketing campaign. It has to be an activity, online, reach, and interaction. It's time of where influencers can buy followers on Instagram. So followers is not always, the number of followers is not always the one point. You look at their interaction, the reach, what they are reaching, how many people they're reaching. These are the factors you have to keep in mind. And if we're talking about which criteria you have to prioritize, first of all, it's the target group. Then on the second is the reach level. The quality and frequency come on place 3 and 4. So just use this way to check and to get your influencer. Now we have to define the content, to define what we're going to write or what we're going to publish. So first of all, of course, you have to determine a topic content. Then you have to create an outline. You have to think about if there are interviews needed. If you need them, if you need expert interviews, you have to find the partners. You have to create questions. You have to conduct the interview. That's all what you have to think of. And maybe there are even guest articles included in the white paper Therefore, of course, you have to find authors, you have to clarify the topics, to create briefings, and of course, in the end, proofread articles and proofread interviews as well. So that's also a time span where you have to add for proofreading and checking all from real data. Do you want to publish a tool? So you have to think about what the tool should be able to do, which programming language do you need, and you have also to keep in mind that it has to run on as many devices as possible, and is the system suitable for it. And for graphics, what do you want to display? Do you need images? Will the images be created in-house? Do you just purchase them? All things you have to keep in mind, what to do to define the content. We also got a to-do list for you. Let's do this. You can just use this list and then check off the points you already accomplished. It's actually the same as before, just as a list. Yeah, then you have to set the topic contents through the, for example, keyword research. You can do an elaboration of the collected keyword points, of the collected bullet points you did before. You can look, you need to look at the topic from all sides. You just check your draft questions. You can use, for example, the similar search queries on Google, or the people also ask on Google side. And you can also use question tools, like, for example, Answer the Public. Then when you got your content, you need to create an outline. You have to consider the specifications of your content marketing campaign, divided into introduction, main section, and conclusion. So it has a logical and clear order for the reader. Consider also research questions and combine maybe topics into meaningful sections. Also, you can maybe split topics into sections and subsections, so it's a little bit more clustered and simpler to get to know. And of course, at the end, you have to include a list of sources and a bibliography, a list of figures, whatever you need. And of course, the outline has to be logical and clear. And if that gets lost, it of course should be definitely restructured or revised. So in the end, you have a logical outline. When you need, or if you want to do interviews, those steps are very essential. First of all, of course, you have to research for suitable interview partners. Then you have you request them, of course. What you have to keep in mind is send out your requests in time, and keep your overall timetable in mind. So if you have an external partner, you always have to plan in a buffer for proofreading, for maybe when he's not reachable. Then of course you have, when you got your interview partner, you have to create questions. You have to, of course, conduct the interview, to prepare the answers, and in the end have a final version, the written version, approved in writing by your interview partner, so that all is correct, that he or she looked at it and can just approve it after all. The same goes for guest posts, of course, for the contributions in your white paper. You have to think about, should guest articles be included in your white paper? So if so, you have to find authors for this. You have to clarify your topics, to create briefings, to proofread the articles, and of course also have the final version approved in writing by your partner. And that's all kind of the same for your guest posts. When there's something external, always keep a buffer, always have your timetable in mind, so that everything is finished when you need it. When you want to publish a tool, this is what you have to keep in mind. You have the requirements for the tool. What should or what must the tool be able to do? Is it a simple or a complex structure, and which programming language should be used? It also has to be system independent, and it has to be usable on as many devices as possible, desktop, on mobile, different mobile phones, different browsers, and maybe you even need somebody external for programming. That's also somebody, maybe you need an agency where they do program your tool, which is also necessary for your timetable to work together with them. If you want to publish a graphic, you have to think about what is to be depicted, and will there be image material created in-house? Will you hire a photographer, or do you just want to purchase an database of images and pictures? Which design do you want to use? After all, do you need images? And how much budget is available or even required for your graphic? I brought you also an example from a concrete procedure. First of all, we choose in our content marketing workshop this idea as a winner. It should be a guide around the topic of spices and herbs. Maybe you remember, if you took part in part 1 of our series, we talked about this ebook, the Spice Guide, before. And the following sub items were on the note. We want to include a history of spices. We want to present the spices of different countries. We want to state out the most expensive, rare, and popular spices in the world. And we want to make a differentiation between spices and herbs. And of course, how to store herbs and spices properly. And we also wanted to have some experts inside. First of all, we did our keyword research. On our focus keyword, spices and herbs. For example, we used Write, but you can also use other tools, the tools you're familiar with. Then we also used the searches on Google, the similar requests that people also ask. So for our content, for our guide we wanted to use. This is an example of Answer the Public. You can see this is like a spider web of examples with the W questions. Is, for example, where herbs grow, where herbs go to seed, can herbs survive winter, how herbs work, for example. You can just check all the questions concerning your keyword. Then, of course, all side must be huge, and the topic has to be, must be by all sides. So do you want maybe do yourself projects? Do you want dozen dotes when seasoning, poster maybe as an interview, as an overview, and the excursus to pepper and chili. That's all what we wanted to include also. So this was our final team content, the final topics, where we have the little spice history around the world, then the countries of origin. We had this excursion to pepper and chili and the most expensive spices. We got the typical local cuisines. Also, we had a special for local spices and a poster for printing. We also did the proper storage of spices and herbs and the do's and don'ts when seasoning. Also, we had do-it-yourself project to create an herb spiral or herbs on window, or in your own garden. And in the end, we had the expert articles with tips, tricks, and recipes. This was our created outline in the end. We had the introductions, we had the main part, the conclusion, and of course, in the end, do not forget your source reference and the image credits. So now, you have to consider, of course, the scope of the guest posts you want to add. You could, for example, have new recipes created and recorded. Then you have to, of course, do the following steps, like the research of suitable food bloggers. We decided for food bloggers and for other experts in the field of spices. You have to narrow down the selections of the perfect experts, and of course, you have to request them. Then, of course, clarify the conditions and coordinate your schedule so you can fit that into your overall schedule. And of course, in the end, when you have the final version, you have to proofread the finished post, you have to proofread the recipes, and of course have the final version approved in writing by your expert, by your guest author, by your blogger, whatever person you have here. Then, for graphics, we did a lot of thinking about graphics, which contain budget planning. Do we want to have big elaborate graphics, or want to keep everything very simple? You have to decide whether the graphics will be implemented internally or externally. If internal, so you have to plan and keep resources free. For unforeseen events, there are always some mistakes, or you have to do it again, whatever. And if you want to do it external, look for a design agency or maybe even a freelancer. Check your timetables, and again, allow a buffer for unforeseen events. And this time for the Spice Guide, we decided to get the pictures from Shutterstock, to purchase them from Shutterstock, because spices is not, they all look the same, or every picture will look the same. So we decided to not go into a budget for an own photographer, or to buy all the spices and photo studio, whatever you need here. So we just purchased it from Shutterstock. That's also just choose whatever you like and what you feel familiar with. There are probably subjects where you can just purchase photos on Shutterstock, and there are topics where you need to make new pictures because it's just something that haven't been here before. Then for the copywriting, for creating text and contents, we have to think about why high quality content is so important for Google. Google says it's high quality content when the users are satisfied, when they receive a suitable solution and a suitable answer to their research query without spending a lot of time. So your content is directly related to the length of stay and the bounce rate, which is also a ranking criterion of Google. You have to have a high quality content, so the chance that the user will be satisfied is very high. And therefore, you also, Google says it's relevant for Google's evaluation. High quality content keeps the user on your page. And if they like what they see, if they're satisfied with the information provided, they will come back soon again and maybe even spread your content. So everybody benefits from high quality content, for, of course, the users, Google, and the site operators. So what are the requirements for a high quality text? Of course, uniqueness. The content should not already exist multiple times. It has to be unique. It has to be published for the first time. The exceptionality, and content should not be copyable with little effort. So it has to be really exceptional. So nobody else with more budget can just do better than you, and just set yourself in the shadow and get all what you actually did before. Of course, you have the respectability and trust, the seriousness and trust, which is an indication of trustworthy sources, collaboration with experts, etc. And of course, the real added value for your reader, the content must offer the user something they haven't had before, they can find easily before maybe. So also entertainment, a special information, a comprehensive guide, something like that. There's also, the formal criteria, of course. It has to be a link-worthy landing page. It should be ad-free and attractively designed. The addressing of the target group has to be done appropriately. So always adapt the wording to your target group. You need to have an appealing design, pay attention to a professional design in the layout for your landing page and for your content. And the seriousness, this respectability indicates sources and your cooperation partners. So everybody sees on the first hand, it is a content with experts, and experts were working on this content. So it's a high quality content. Which aspects belong to the wording? You have to think about, title, the title, doctor, title of your writers, of your experts. You have to think about Anglicisms. Do you want to use them? Do you not want to use them? Just check that your language style is current over all the landing page, the ebook, over all the texts you have in there. Do you want to have technical words or no technical words? When you, for example, have a target group which are teenagers, it's more likely to use a more informal language than when you have business partners, or where you have to address even in formal language. And of course, the representation of proper names. And you have to think about gender sensitive language, which is also important point right now. Why is the right wording so important? Think about it. Your target group feels addressed much better than with an inappropriate wording. If your target group feels addressed, then your content is more likely to be shared. And if the wording is chosen correctly, the content stays in your head better. You can keep it in mind. You can remember what you were reading, and it just has a fluent and comprehensive language. Adapt wording to the target group. What you can do is you establish, of course, and stick to consistent rules, which you stated before. Adapt your language style to your target group and use technical terms in sensibly and explain them once if it's necessary. Don't do changing spelling from addresses several times. What you also should not do is address teenagers in elevated language and with many technical terms. That's they would probably not go on reading because they just simply don't know what to do with all those technical terms, and throw around technical terms widely without really having an added value for it. Just keep that in mind for the yes please and no thanks sections. Of course, what makes the good content, what makes high quality content would we have some bullet points here. It's the comprehensibility, it's error-free, the actuality, the current theme, it's the reader address, uniqueness, it's concrete results, the truth, whatever. It's a lot of points. So if you need more information about creating a high quality text, just check on your magazine on elg.net, where we have an article about writing high quality texts. Let's go to layout and graphic of your content marketing campaign. And here are some tips for it. You can use uniform icons. You can use meaningful icons. You can also combine several icons, for example, as we have here, like the background, the person, and your light bulb. Written content can also prepare graphically, so decide whether you want to lose your text a little bit with a graphic in between. And the graphic and icon should have their own design in color and visual language. And what is very essential is good quality here. So you have different screens, you have different websites, different quality of screens. So the graphic should be definitely pretty good, so everybody can read it. Even if you zoom in or zoom out, it has to be viewable, really good. For getting started, we also have a little list for you, which you can check off again. First of all, of course, think about the content, then consider your structure and display. Maybe roughly sketch your graphic, and if you need it, get your design agency on board. Always keep in mind your timetable for your graphic creations, your overall timetable for your project, so that nothing gets delayed. Your next steps now are your research for suitable and meaningful images or meaningful icons, or maybe creating graphics in your corporate design. And of course, you always need a correction loop where you check spelling, the comprehensibility, the quality of it. So just keep that in mind to always get 1 or 2 correction loops in there. If you want to do or to work with your agency, of course, first of all, you need to do a briefing. You have to do coordination of the developed agency proposals, the implementation of the decided variant, and of course, in the end, you need again a proofreading loop for spelling and comprehensibility. And as I said before, always check your timetable, always check your schedule. If you have an external partner, maybe there are some delays, maybe there's some misunderstanding, and you need to do it all over again. So always plan in a buffer so that nothing gets delayed. So a little excursus again. Why do you need a design agency? You maybe think you can do it all intern, you can maybe do it all by yourself, but especially agency has a very high expertise, and they have an experience. They did previous projects that maybe are the same or similar to yours. They have a big team, and usually the different skills of the team can be used flexibly for your successful project. And they usually have the required software available, and they're always up to date, and they know how to use it. They just don't have, maybe you don't have your special software, and then you have to buy it. You have to get somebody to know it and get into it, and then maybe you don't even know how to use it. So that's kind of what you have to think about when you use when you decide if you want to use an agency or not an agency. And of course, agencies are often more resource efficient than when you do it internal. And you have to think, they do nothing else. They always do that what the agency is for. So they're probably more an expert than you are in this special creation of a graphic or image, whatever. Yes, when you need icons or images, you can, of course, use online providers, databases of pictures, for example, Shutterstock, Adobe Stock, Flaticon, Unsplash, Pixabay. But after all, it's very important find out in advance how the source must be named exactly, and be sure to really observe this. Be sure that the picture you're downloading, you're purchasing is really allowed to be used in your case, so that you don't get problems here with pictures and copyright problems. Then in the end, when you have all sorted out, you have to create a landing page. We have a step-by-step guide. So your landing page needs the following. It has to be kept non-commercial. It needs to be clearly arranged. It has to be professional layout, design. It has to annotate your content, list your unique selling USPs. The download button has to be there visibly, and maybe even write on it download for free so everybody knows it's free content. And there should be no data request for your download. It should be as easy as possible for your reader to get to your ebook, whatever you want them to download. And maybe introduce also your experts on the first landing on your landing page, so everybody knows exactly what they can expect from your ebook or your content, whatever it is. I've got an example for you here. This is a good example because it's decommercialized. There's no shopping cart icon. There's no store categories here on the top. You have here the list of USPs, and they are teasing the content. And you have here the download button stated on there really in yellow. So it's really bright, really, seeable for everybody. And there's also introduction by the experts. They say why they want, why they like it, what you're saying about the ebook. So it's all perfectly done on this page. In the end, you have to do quality control. You want a high quality, so you have, of course, to control it so that everything is fine in the end when you finally publish it. The quality control should be performed by an independent person, or maybe more than one person, which are not involved in the project, to prevent the operational blindness. and they have an independent opinion on your project, and it should be more than one person. For example, they should be the experts that check the accuracy of your content. There should be a linguist to check spelling and grammar, the wording, all that. And even, completely uninvolved person to check if the text is comprehensible, if the user can, get into this topic easily. Just maybe ask your grandmother, ask your brother, whatever, somebody that is uninvolved, maybe even somebody out of the target group, to check if everything is comprehensible, if it's logical, and if it's understandable in total. And what should be paid attention to in your quality control is, of course, data, numbers, and facts. There should not be numerical errors or typing errors. There should not be data without an added value, and dubious sources are not really what you want to have in there. It has to be serious sources, and check your sources and even state them so everybody knows it's authentic, it's an expert content. Next is the readability. You have to check if your technical terms are explained, if you have some cumbersome nested sentences. Check if your sentences are logical and easy to understand, especially if you're writing for a younger target group. And check for your sentences, are there few varied or a lot of varied sentences? That's something what you have to keep in mind. Next one, you have to check the logic. Can the reader follow the text? Is there consistent connections, or is it an ordered information, or is it just the other way around? Always go for ordered information, the connections, and that your reader can follow the text. So it's all logical and in the end has an added value for your reader. Next one, what you have to pay attention in your quality control is the language. It has to be precise, it has to be targeted to your group, it has to be formulated correct, and it has to be the right wording. Check again your wording and what you established before, so you create a consistency throughout your landing page, throughout all of your content. That's very important to get to address directly to your target group. And last one, check the grammar. Grammar is essential for the quality of your publication. There should not be incorrect sentence structures. There should not be spelling errors, and the punctuation marks should be used correctly. That's what most reader maybe sees at first time if there's a grammatical or maybe a spelling error, and they will think it's not a big or high quality. So always check your grammar. You can also use tools for it. You can use your linguist, expert, or a quality control manager, whatever. Just get everything correct and without errors. So there are some more tips. That's wider tips. Let's check all the copyrights and check all the sources. Consider the overall project. For example, is the layout and the landing page and the content marketing project coherent? And if you're own, you can also use tools to support you, like spell checker or word counting stuff, which you can just easily find online. So now we have the content ready. What are the next steps? The next steps are the active outreach. So you have to introduce a functioning project management. You can establish, or you have to establish a quality criteria for the linking sites. How do you want, to criterize them? You can do a pre-outreach, you can do research, and of course, develop arguments of dissemination, and then in the end, correct contacting of the suitable pages. All of that you will get to know in our part 3 of our 4-part series, the Rest in Peace press release. In part 3, we're then talking about the targeted and active dissemination of content. And let's talk about the learnings from today. The learnings from part 2 are, there are different variants of a content marketing project. It must be decided individually which medium is the right one. Always check, yeah, your target group. Do they want a white paper? Do they want a video, an infographic, whatever? Your expert should definitely be involved to increase your quality and your trustworthiness of your content. And the content and your outline should be precisely defined in advance. Here, also a realistic and workable schedule is indispensable. Always plan in buffer. Yeah, check with your external partners, can they work into your schedule? And you need a uniform and appealing layout of your landing page and your content marketing product. And your landing page also should be ad-free. And in the end, your quality control is essential. So to have your high quality content marketing product in the end. So these were the learnings of our part 2. Now a little more for our geology white papers. You can download them. We have your content strategy for your SEO success. And of course, we have our modern link marketing white paper where you can do a little pre-information for our next webinar. I say thank you for listening. I hope you liked it. And if you have any questions, just contact us anytime. We will be happy to answer them for you. Thanks for listening and maybe see you next time. Goodbye.